Okay. Oh, wow. We went live. Look at
We
this
went
scrappy
live.
little
Woohoo!
show. So scrappy. We have the fabulous Fran today. Thank you so much for coming back. Clearly, I was trying to come back at the same time I was already there. See, that's how you stay ready. Significant business results is what we're going to talk today about with Fran McNeil. Tell us where you're from, Fran.
I am right outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So East Coast,
Ooh,
but
little
serving the world.
Philadelphia, PA. I love it. I love it. And I love it. And I also like talking to people who are business mindset focused, but also service heart, helping
Mhm.
others. So tell us about some of the things. Now, we had a little pre conversation. So I'm really interested to open up scale because a lot of people have businesses and they might be stagnant or they might be dipping in that ebb, but we want to get you back to the flow. So tell us the main points and then lead us, seg us into success.
Sure, sure. Well, if regardless of where you are in your business, whether you're at that I've got an idea stage, startup stage, growth stage, in one of the pit holes, thinking about scaling or even selling, the
Mm-hmm.
one thing that is really important to remember is that you may be basically running a hobby, but the
Mm-hmm.
difference between a hobby and being an entrepreneur is that you start getting paid for what you do. But the difference between being an entrepreneur and a business owner is business owners have an entity that is separate from them. It may have their brand, but it's separate from them, and the business can run without them. So
Mm-hmm.
you own the business that operates without you. And the benefits are you can take a vacation,
Yeah.
you can let other people be in charge, you can do other things with your time and money,
Yeah.
and you're probably a lot saner
Oh,
and
true.
pleasanter to be with.
I think I was
So
talking to a mutual.
that's the story.
Yeah, I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, Sturdy, and he said the only person that's keeping you up at night about your business or thinking about it is you. So
Mhm.
that was kind of like poignant. And then I had another great coach in my life, Jay Sparks, said, work on your business, not in your business. But how do they go
Absolutely.
from hobby to entrepreneur?
Well, again, with the hobby part, a lot of people are doing something they're passionate about, and that is critical. And in a lot of ways, if you're passionate about something, you're serving and feeding yourself while
Yeah.
serving and feeding others. And it's a great way to test out an idea that later you may say, you know what? I'm good at this. I'm passionate at this. People value what I want. I am
Yeah.
going to have them give me their credit card or their cash or their Venmo or their WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I'm going to get compensated for the value I add. And
There
that's
you
the
go.
difference between a hobby that typically you're not paid for, you're
Mm-hmm.
giving it away, to being an entrepreneur.
I love
And
that. I
lots
love
of
that.
entrepreneurs have sort of side hustles.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's part time. Maybe they really don't want this to be a full time endeavor. And
Hmm.
even if you're a part time business owner, that leap between, again, being an entrepreneur and a business owner is that the business doesn't own you.
There you go.
The time in that enterprise isn't basically making you have a 100-hour a week low paying job and you're
Yeah.
calling yourself an entrepreneur.
And
You know,
stress to the guilt.
exactly, exactly.
Yes,
Like
yes.
that doesn't make sense. So I often say to folks, entrepreneurship, even if you're a solopreneur, it really isn't a one person activity and it's
Mhm.
not a spectator sport.
Hmm.
So you need the energy of others who see your vision and see and participate in your mission. So they see where you want to be 5
Mhm.
years from now and they believe it's possible and they're willing to put in the work to help you get there. And
Yes.
they believe in the mission, the day-to-day things that right now you're doing that people find valuable, that people are paying you for. And
Well, I
so
just want
they
to
need to see
interject.
both.
I just want to interject, and a lot of times that's not your family. That a lot of times that's not your loved ones because they just want you to go to college, go back to school, maybe get that full time job, and that's okay. They're not looking at it through your eyes. They don't see the long range plan. So find some other people that are entrepreneurs. Find some other people outside of that close circle, because listen, my family's super supportive, and but that's not always the case. That's not always the case when you want to start something new, because people are so used to living in that box and they think they're helping you, but what they're really doing is stopping you from progressing or stopping you from getting those significant business results. Fran, do you ever have people who come to you who are experiencing that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And
Mhm.
I think the thing about friends and family is they know you, they love you, they want to protect you. They want to protect you from risk. And the
Yeah.
word entrepreneur is about entering to take risks. And
Yeah.
so they're like, "Oh no, 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 no. You shouldn't do that. Do something safe." Did you know that McDonald's is paying 21 bucks an hour? I mean, that's safe. Work
Yeah.
40 hours a week. You'll get a paycheck. And
Mm-hmm.
again, you yourself have to identify how much risk you can handle, but
Mm-hmm.
also don't confuse um, sort of the amount of work that you think, don't confuse kind of your passion with, I'm willing to stay up all hours of the night. That's fine. But
Yeah.
recognize that your body may not be willing, your spirit may not be willing,
Mm-hmm.
and the people that are counting on you may not be willing for you to make that sacrifice. So, part of what's important is to kind of be smart
Yeah.
around what's that one product or service that you have to offer to a specific type of customer,
Mm.
that when they hear about it, when they see it, they're going to click, they're going to buy, they're going to stand in line, they're going to
Yeah.
be a repeat customer, they're going to refer folks. So you have heard that term, get rich in a niche. That
Yep.
means do one thing and do it well.
Do it
And it's
well.
scary for people because they're like, but I'm a great baker. I could make cupcakes and brownies and, marshmallows.
Yeah.
Pick one thing. Why? Because number one, your marketing will be super focused.
Mm-hmm.
And also the ingredients, if you're a baker,
Oh
then you're
yeah.
only buying ingredients for that one thing. You can probably buy in bulk.
And you should
You could
buy it. Wait,
probably
and you
store.
should stick with the marshmallows, because if you can make a marshmallow girl, stick with the marshmallows. Go
Stick with
ahead.
marshmallows, huh?
Yeah, stick with the marshmallows.
So,
But yeah, you want to take that one thing and do it well. But here's another thing. So I'm a big fan of all sorts of music, especially rap. Bun B, the rapper, said you could be one step away from success and never know it. So, I mean, it's good to know that, yeah, we've got to be willing to put in this work, but just don't give up easily. So, riches are in the niches. Now we're making marshmallows. What do we do next?
well, okay. So hopefully before you started to make marshmallow, you identified who are the people or what group
Target.
of people by age, by they call it demographics, but
Yeah.
by age, by gender, by ethnicity, perhaps,
Mhm.
by location. Is it city? Is it rural? Do they live in a condo? Do they rent? Are they on a farm? So, where are these people that when they hear about your marshmallows, and
Mhm.
you can get cheap marshmallows from the dollar store, you can get organic vegan marshmallow, I mean, you can get all sorts of
Mhm.
marshmallows. When they hear about yours, that they will say, I am willing to pay a premium for those marshmallows. You don't want to be the lowest cost, even if you think your
Right.
stuff is good, and like, don't be low cost, because it's costing you money to get those ingredients.
Yeah,
So know who's willing to pay a premium price for it.
that's
And
right.
you might have to do some market research, but that's really important. So you're talking to the people who are going, you know what? I've had these generic, you know,
Mm-hmm.
dollar store marshmallows, and they first of all, they don't melt in hot chocolate. Second of
Mm.
all, when I bite into them, I'm like going to lose my dentures or chip my
It's like
tooth.
eating cotton.
They don't, yeah, they're hard and
Terrible.
crusty. They're not soft. Maybe it's the Girl Scout crowd that wants marshmallows for fancy s'mores.
Yeah.
So they don't melt right. When they're hot and toasty and they hit that chocolate and that graham cracker. So
Yeah.
what is it that customer, that ideal customer, is thinking about, that when they hear your description of your marshmallow, ideally in 8 words, they're like, oh, gotta have that. Oh, what? No, $39 a bag? That's okay. I'm gonna
Yeah.
buy those marshmallows.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I love that. And so the riches are in the niches. But here's another thing this woman so kindly graced us with is you're only buying the materials or the ingredients for the one product. You picture one thing and you're going to jettison into success with that. And you're not going to give up in the formative stages because you've already identified who wants that product. So once you've figured out who wants to hear what Sarita says, or you figured out what Fran is, coaching in the wisdom, and that's another thing. Let me just go ahead and tell you the power that having a coach. When I first came to society, and I worked at a place that offered business coaching, and it was just like, coaching for what? Like, you're just going to come spend time talking about something and pay for that? Absolutely. And guess what? They're successful business owners now, or they came in and what they thought was a successful place and they have become better. And I feel like a lot of times business owners that are successful are working on work-life balance or how to step out of the business. And people that are on the ground floor, the formative stages, they need that guidance. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There, a long time ago, there was a quote that was like, even Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods have a coach. So the best of the best have coaches to help them stay on top of their game, to help them improve that one area that they, if they improve by 1%, it's going to put them ahead of the competition. Coaches typically specialize in an area, so they know kind of what your competition is doing, and they're scanning the landscape for trends. And when earlier you talked about family specifically, but I expanded it to friends and family who may not be supportive of your business adventure. Your coach provides this sort of safe space where you can be vulnerable. You can say, what I did today or yesterday didn't work. Where I want to go is here. I'm trying these things, and they can give you feedback to help. In a sense, they're like a GPS. So they help you stay on track, regardless of how you might get derailed. Whereas a friend and family member will go, oh, you're off by an inch. You should stop.
Not working.
Girl, turn around, go back home, get under the covers. No, you need support.
And I also like that a coach has a different perspective. That's someone from the outside. They don't have any vested interest in, going to, tell you some stuff that they're not knowledgeable about. They're going to stick to the facts, and I really feel like this too. Your coach is going to
stick to the facts.
Huh?
Okay.
Yeah,
no,
they're going to stick to the facts, and they're also going to realize that, hey, sometimes there's tough decisions that need to be made. And since we have this trust between us, and that my vested interest is for you to do well, the more successful you are, the more successful I am. Let me tell you some hard things, but also celebrate your success. Do you have any examples of maybe when you had a client who was doing, maybe you had to have a few tough discussions, and how did that look? A few.
Tough discussions are definitely a part of it. I always tell folks, know what you're getting. So when you're interviewing coaches, you do want to look at their credentials and the social proof, etc. But you also want to make sure that their style is a match for your style, and that where you have weaknesses, their style will support you and help you get through or over those weaknesses. So I do say to folks, I'm the oldest of 4 girls. I'm used to people telling me no. My sisters did that at an early age, and I'm very comfortable powering past that and saying, yes, and here's what you need to do.
That's right.
So I focus on holding people accountable, not to my goals, to their goals. So, I do assessments with my clients even before they become clients, because I want to know where they are. Where have you been successful? What are the challenges getting in your way? Where do you want to go? What have you tried? So, and I ask for people to kind of identify, and again, it's significant business results. What's something that over the next 90 days or 6 months or year that you're willing to work for? What's that top of the mountain that you want to get to? And you have to find someone that you can be honest with.
Yes.
So if you are just looking for a place to say, well, I did this and I did this, giving me a list of all the activities you did does not tell me in relation to the goal where, whether or not you're close.
Yeah.
So you can spend all your time on Facebook, but if your customers are on Instagram, that was a waste of time.
Absolutely.
Holding you accountable, creating a trusted environment, and being willing to listen to the questions that the coach asks and the resources that the coaches provide. So sometimes I tell my clients, you really need to talk to Sarita. You really need to talk to XYZ. And here are, based on an issue or a challenge or an aspiration that you have a conversation about these 3 things. And then listen, you don't have to agree, but listen and take notes.
Yeah. I really like you mentioned the 30, the 60, and the 90 days. Every good coach is going to give you some type of homework. There is something that you need to actively do to be an active participant in your own success. So there might be a meeting where, hey, we're talking about, hey, these are your wins. This is how you get to them. But the action steps are what is going to give you the significant business results. When she said 30, 60, and 90, she's not going to hold your hand through that, but she's going to give you some tasks to where when you've accomplished that, you're coming back with results, and then we go from there. Would you agree? That's what a coach is about.
Absolutely.
Give me some homework.
Right. If your coach is just nodding their head and going, yes, 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 no, no, no. No, even, and coaches are really not therapists, but in borrowing from the therapy model, often people will ask why. Why did you do that? To what degree did that work? How well is that working for you? Is that connected to your goal? And, you have to be prepared for those questions. And yes, a coach is not there to do the work for you. The coach will hold you accountable for doing the work. One of the, just in terms of tips or things for people to think about if they've never worked with a coach, is often coaches will have a model. So one very public model that I often use is the GROW model. So when I'm working with someone, I ask them, the G stands for goal. What is your goal? And I ask people to state it in a sentence or 2. If it's not a SMART goal, so if it's not specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound, then I'll say, if they say, well, I want to make $1 million. By
how you going to do it?
Get
specific.
What product? Nice. Is it a legal product? So
can you do this?
Goal. Yeah. Then the next thing is,
wait, I don't think Pablo Escobar had a business coach. That's what happened. That's what happened in the 80s with cocaine. All right. Pablo should have tapped into somebody.
But one of the models, and I'm not putting a judgment one way or the other, but drug dealers identify customers with a specific pain or problem that value a solution in a timely manner. And people are literally willing to, in some cases, steal, beg, borrow, or work for the funds in order to get access to that solution. So,
True.
the very basic principles of marketing work,
True.
from my understanding, this is a
Yeah,
research
Pablo found the
based.
niche.
Yeah, right. You
Pablo was
know,
on to something.
yeah. So it really is, whether it's pizza, whether it's pharmaceuticals,
Yeah.
whether it's
It's
a
marshmallows.
vacation.
Yeah.
What is it that emotionally people want and need? And
Mhm.
ideally, it's a product or service that there will be a repeat need for,
Yeah.
such that, again, if you're offering a premium service, people will say, I could buy the Costco version. But you know
Mm.
what? I want the premium version because it's worth it. I'm
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, I really like that. And I feel like there are so many people who would benefit from the services that Fran provides. If you're in a business and you're trying to excel, you're trying to move, you're trying to scale, there's
Mhm.
strength in a multitude of advisors. Fran, how do we find you? Because we're talking about Facebook, we're talking about Instagram. I think I met you through LinkedIn. Go ahead, tell us about
Right.
your
LinkedIn
platforms,
and
website.
right. Right.
Yeah.
So you can find me on LinkedIn, and you would just, once you get into LinkedIn, type Fran with two N's and an E, Franne, McNeil, and that would pull up my LinkedIn page.
Yeah.
You can also go to my website, which is Significant Business Results, because that is what I believe in. I've been
Yeah.
working with entrepreneurs for over 30 years, but in the last 11 years, I've worked with 886 small business owners in the Philadelphia tri-state area, which is Pennsylvania, Delaware, and southern New Jersey. And those
Wow.
entrepreneurs generated 15,000 jobs and nearly $1 billion in revenue. So,
Wow.
in terms of significant business results, a lot of it is about, again, focusing your energy for action. So,
Hmm.
a coach will help you focus, as in whether you're doing a hobby or whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're moving towards through growth and scale, being a business owner, you need to know how best to spend your time.
That's right.
And you are not, I share with people, you are not a hat rack. Often people say, oh, in my business, I do so many things. I wear so many hats. I'm like, are you a hat rack? They look at me strangely. No, you're not a
Yeah.
hat rack. So stop
Right.
wearing so many hats. Again, being an entrepreneur or a business owner is not a solo sport.
Hmm.
I almost think, I know people have to start off as an entity as of one, but ideally, if you have a product and service that a specific group of people want, will buy again and again and refer, and you understand your numbers such that your cost of goods sold or cost of services are such that you can sell at a premium and people want to
Hmm.
come back, you should, over time, with your business plan, be able to identify when you can bring on that intern, when you can bring on that part-time person. If you think about it, if you are operating with one wheel, it's like riding a unicycle. And
Hmm.
riding a unicycle takes really strong muscles, really great balance, and super concentration. And God forbid there's a pothole, you're in trouble.
Woo.
If you operate a two wheeled object, that's typically a bicycle, again,
Hmm.
there's a certain amount of balance and control that's needed. You might have a little
Yeah.
bell on your bicycle. You've probably got brakes. You've got foot brakes. You
Hmm.
can operate. You shouldn't be biking on sidewalks. That's illegal in most states. But,
Yes.
there often is a bike path.
Yeah.
If you have three wheels, then it's a tricycle. Typically, those are reserved for younger children for balance, but there
Hmm.
are sort of the adult three wheelers that are kind of
Yeah. The
fun.
recumbents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you've got a four-wheel vehicle, it's a car.
Yeah.
So when you can get to the point in your business that you have at least 4 people, that means the responsibilities are divided up. It also means that your costs are up. But again, if you are selling to the right people at the right price who value your premium product, you'll be able to cover that and still have a profit.
I like it. I like it a lot. And as well,
Mhm.
don't lowball yourself. Do not
No.
lowball your worth, because once
Mhm.
you have that niche identified and who wants it, then you are a premium product maker, or you are the premium product. Fran, I want to thank you for coming on, but I want to go back to grow. So they
Mhm.
set that specific, measurable, attainable, is it reasonable and timely? Smart. They set that goal, but what is the
Yes,
grow?
the SMART
Yeah.
goal.
And
Yeah.
what's the grow? So we
Right.
set the goal. What's
Okay.
the R?
Right. You
Or should be the O?
you want to set the goal, and then you want to
I know.
identify, is it something, and then the next thing is, what are your options?
Hmm.
What's involved in that? Um, so sometimes people will say it's realistic, but what are the different ways that you're going to go about getting to that goal? And
Right.
then what are you willing to? And so there's really kind of nuances between each of those.
Yeah.
So, what is the goal you want to achieve?
Hmm.
What's the reality of where you are? So, if someone says, I want to, again, I want to have a $1 million business, but realistically, right now, you have a credit score of 200, you don't
Jesus.
have a job. You, even if your hobby is, let's say your hobby is making cakes, you don't have a place, a friend or a family member that has a reliable oven. You
Hmm.
can't supplies. So $1 million business by the end of the year is not
Not
realistic. And
realistic.
then what are
No.
your options? What are, understanding that there may be this gap between your goal and the reality, what are the
Hmm.
options, and or what are the obstacles that are in the way?
Well, I'm gonna
So
tell this
maybe
person right now, the first thing you need to do is work on that credit score, because
work on the
the
credit score,
first thing
but
you need to do.
let's, right.
Yeah,
But
you,
let's
because how are
say
you
that,
even living?
yeah, but maybe in order to improve the credit score from 200,
Yeah.
300, it might take 6 months, and then it might take,
Yeah.
so, but short term, if your skill is making cupcakes, you then
Hmm.
need to find a friend or family member with a reliable stove who is
Hmm.
willing to let you come in maybe at 3 in the morning when everybody's asleep, even the mice are quiet, and that you can kind of pull together ingredients. Maybe they find, they buy the first 10 pounds of flour and 10 pounds of butter and 10 pounds, 10 gallons of milk, but so that you can overcome that obstacle of
Yeah.
having a safe and healthy, clean place to make your cupcakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So identifying options and obstacles are important. And then really identifying what you're willing to do. So maybe
Hmm.
you're like, well, I don't have any friends. Okay, so then, okay, we'll take the friends thing off the table. Well,
Yeah.
my aunt doesn't like me in her kitchen. Well, we'll take that off the table. So
Yeah.
maybe it's a community center.
Yeah.
So what are you willing to? Well, I don't want to wake up at 3 in the morning. Well,
Well, you can't
3 in
make
the morning is
excuses.
when, yeah, right.
That's what the first thing, you need to be willing to not make excuses. Because I told my son, listen, he said, Mom, having you is hard to, come behind. And I said, absolutely, because some people make excuses, others make history,
That's right.
So don't make excuses. Find that shared kitchen, because that's a thing
Right.
that's happening now. Or go make
Hmm.
friends with your local business owners. Say, hey, can I come in and make this product and sell it out of your storefront and give you a cut? Just
Absolutely.
an
And in
idea.
fact, pizza owners were finding, and this is even pre-COVID, that there were these cupcake makers, brownie makers, folks that basically needed an oven. And
Mhm.
so what the pizza store often didn't open until 10 in the morning, and they might close at 12 or 1 or 2. So literally at 3 in the morning till about 9 in the morning, that store was open. There are restaurants, particularly if they're new, that may only serve dinner or only serve lunch or only serve breakfast. Now, often they have a small kitchen, but what is the person that's leasing that space? What's going on if you're only serving breakfast from 2 p.m. to about 4 a.m.? Can't you work out a deal with them? They're already paying rent. So if you pay a small amount of rent, maybe you bring in your own equipment. So there's a business coach
smart.
going to help you think about what are your options, what are your obstacles, what are you willing to do, and step by step. You can't do everything. But so again, the credit may be a major obstacle.
Oh, I was just picking, but yeah.
Yeah, but if you're able to make the cupcakes in a safe, certified, clean place, and maybe the pizza owner sells the cupcakes.
Yeah.
Because
smart.
Cupcakes and there's no competition there.
Right.
So, thinking about how can you lower your expenses, increase your revenue, test out the market, get a following. I mean, you could say, hey, go to Pete's Pizza Shop between, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and you can get my cupcakes. Now, maybe between 10 and 2, the pizza store isn't as busy. Or maybe they'll say, you know what, my slow time is 2:30 to 4:30. Well, then you can drive traffic to their store between that time. That benefits them. Now, if that's the case, I would be like, well, instead of paying, $20 a night to use the kitchen, I'm going to offer you $12 a night.
Yeah, because I'm adding value. I'm adding value. Franne, thanks for coming on here and adding value to my show. I surely appreciate it, because guess what? Everyone needs significant results in every aspect of your life. I feel like here are your key takeaways. Get a coach, Franne McNeil. Hit her up through LinkedIn, because let me tell you, LinkedIn is the best kept secret. So get on there, make it happen. Facebook, Instagram, and also your website, Significant Business Results.
Absolutely.
Franne, you've dropped all sage wisdom. Tell us something as we leave.
Well, as we leave, I think number one, continue to watch Rita. Okay, right?
That's right. Thank you.
Do that. You got to do that.
You.
Great guest, lots of energy. Support her as she supports you. Keep your mind open to learning. It really is critical. Learning is continuous. Your body is continuing to decay every day. So refresh and replenish yourself by learning. Surround yourself with positive people. Those are the ones that are going to say, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Believe in yourself and do the work.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. Do the work, Franne McNeil.
Do the work.
Sarita